All right, welcome to a lightning quick recap on what you already know about linear equations. So if we are asked to graph an equation that is in slope-intercept form, the m value and the b value should be staring us right in the face because y has already been solved for. So y is by itself, and that is the key. Now, in order to find the slope associated with this, we'd have to find where x is. So if we find the variable, the number that is related with the x, this would be -2. That is the best way to write a fraction in most computer programs. So I wanted to show you that if you see something like that, that is actually telling you that it's -2 or 5, which in fact is the rise over the run, how we will eventually graph the points. And then the y-intercept is the number that's always by itself, and that would be in this case +3. So remember that if we were to change the order of this and rewrite this linear equation using the commutative property, and I'm going to more appropriately write it as a fraction, +3 minus 2x over 5, that this would be still the same slope and still the same y-intercept because you're looking for where the variable x is to associate with the slope. But if we're asked to graph, we then would try to take this and put it on the y-axis first. So the y-intercept crosses the y-axis at 3, so I put my first point at 3. And then I use the slope to rise and run from that point. So in this case, I'm going to go down 2, and then I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to make a negative move with a positive move. And so every time I'm moving down 2, I'm moving to the right 5 and not 4. All right, so that'd be all the way out here. Now, if I didn't want to go down and right, I could also go up, which is positive, but then make a move to the left, which is negative. And as long as I'm making one positive move with one negative move, I'm all good. I then want to seal the deal, I call it. So this is a little acronym to remember to connect, extend, arrows, and label your line. So I'm going to take the points, I'm going to connect it, I'm going to extend it so it reaches the ends of the graph because we are going to be graphing lines with graphing equations on more than one coordinate plane. So make sure you want to see where those intersect or anything that would happen outside of the points that you plotted. And then you want to put arrows on it to show that it goes on forever and ever. And whenever you're doing more than one graph, you want to make sure you put the name of it, -2 over 5x plus 3. Okay? I put this next one on here because sometimes it can be tricky if there's no number in front of x. You're like, where's the slope? I don't see a number. But don't forget that there is a 1 there. So it's in wearing his invisible costume, and just make sure you put the 1 in, which also could be written as 1 over 1. You can take any whole number divided by 1, and you're still going to get that numerator. You're still going to get whatever you had to start with. So then the b value is the y-intercept, and again, the number that doesn't have any variable next to it would be -3, your y-intercept, and your starting point. So that's the first point we put down on the graph. Now this one's going to move up 1 and right 1. So 1 and 1, 1 and 1, 1 and 1, 1 and 1. And remember, you should be getting a straight line every time you do this. If there's any kinks or bends, something's wrong. Now if I didn't want to go up and to the right, I could go down and to the left, down and left, making 2 negative moves. 2 negative moves, when you have a negative divided by a negative, would actually be a positive. So this slope is positive because it goes up as it goes to the right. We can put arrows on it to show that it goes on forever and ever, making sure you extended it to the ends of the graph, and then go back and label it y equals x minus 3, and you have sealed the deal, and you are done with that. Okay? Next up is seeing how to write a linear equation for a line that's already been graphed. So let's take the positive one for the first. So I'm going to grab this y-intercept from the line that has positive slope. Always a good idea to remember that this is written in y equals mx plus b form, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Now I already pulled off the y-intercept, the 4, the starting value. Again, where it crosses the y-axis, it kind of makes common sense once you realize that that's the y-intercept y-axis. And then we got to find some points. So go ahead and look for points on the line. So like this one and this one, or I could have gone in this direction here. And so I just want to find the rise and the run. Now I can go up and over, up and over. I can also go down and over, okay? Either way, the slope's going to be the same, because if I went up 3 and over 1, both of those are positive. I could go down 3 and left 1. And again, a 3 over 1 slope is the same as a negative 3 over a negative 1 slope. They're both going to be 3. And so we don't always have to write that 1 underneath. It doesn't have to be written as a fraction. So if we don't have to, let's just keep it y equals 3x plus 4. For our last one, let's take a look at the negative slope. Again, it is probably easier though to pull off the y-intercept if it crossed exactly at an integer like this one does here, which is at negative 2. So I'm going to go up and left, up and left, up and left, and I'm finding these values, all right, are on the line. So up was plus 1, but left was minus 3. Plus 1, minus 3. So it's rising 1 and running 3. Kind of the opposite of what the other one was doing. I could have gone down and right, because this would have been the negative movement downwards with the positive movement to the right. So this slope, whether you wanted to write it as 1 over 3, meaning negative 1 over 3, it's going to be equal to 1 over negative 3. And a lot of the times when you write these, you put the negative sign kind of in the middle because it goes in the top or in the bottom. Just make sure you don't put it in both, because then you're dealing with a double negative situation, which means it's positive slope. So finish this off by putting it in descending order here. So negative 1 over 3. So slope usually first, then just minus 2 for the negative 2 y-intercept. Okay? Hopefully this went well. Please finish up the Google Jamboard that's posted in your module, and let me know if you have any questions.